In Canto 5, Dante shows pity for the fate of the souls of Helen of Troy, Achilles, Paris, and Tristan, and again when he sees the sinners of illicit love, Francesca and Paolo. In Canto 6, he likewise empathizes with the glutton Ciacco. Further, in Canto 13, he shows pity for those who have committed the sin of suicide. However, these scenes stand in contrast to what happens when Dante expresses pity for the soothsayers and fortune-tellers who, as noted, have their heads on backwards and are thus prevented from looking forward. When he sees this, he cries in sorrow, quote, "Indeed I did weep as I leaned my body against a jut of a rugged rock." He's then reproached for this by his guide Virgil, who says, quote, "In this place piety lives when pity is dead. For who could be more wicked than that man who tries to bend divine will to his own?" Virgil's rebuke would seem at first glance to stand in contradiction to the Christian principle of pity, but it's in fact consistent with Dante's worldview. Since all the punishments that Dante sees in the Inferno are the results of divine justice, it's inappropriate to feel pity for the sinners. Indeed, this even shows a form of audacity since it implicitly calls into question God's righteousness. By feeling pity for a sinner, Dante implies that he wishes that the sinner was not subject to the pain and suffering, but this would be in defiance of divine justice. It implicitly sets up a different standard of justice that is opposed to that of God, and thus represents a form of pretentiousness. This is presumably what Virgil means when he criticizes Dante for wanting, quote, to bend divine will to his own. There's a play on words here between piety and pity, which seems to suggest a relation between the two concepts. In other words, when true piety is present, there's no need for pity, since one sees that the punishments are the result of the divine will. Piety means the wholehearted embracing of the divine and the following of God's will. But this is not the case when one shows pity or sympathy for the sinners in their suffering divine punishment. Thus, this form of pity is the opposite of piety. The idea is that the concept of Christian pity should be reserved for people who are humble and repentant, and whose sufferings are not the result of their own sinfulness. But one should have no pity for the sinners who, in their sufferings, are merely receiving their just deserts. By showing pity towards these people, one is implicitly calling into question God's justice.